When they bought this kit for me for Mother's Day, my shady daughter said, now, when we see this quilt again, it will look like a butterfly, won't it? And I said, I promise not to turn my butterfly into an elephant.
Yeah. I've been down so in love like. 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 In love like. In love like.
It's official. I have a Legit kit, which is the Monarch, and I cannot wait to do a full unboxing. So you're getting the first peek right when a little bit after I pop the top. This is my kids and husband got this for Mother's Day. And look at this, 115 colors, 2,777 pieces. This is a quilt that I saw at the quilt festival. And at first I was nervous, but now I'm ready. I cannot wait to do this, even though I'm a little bit nervous. So all of this, I'm gonna do all of this. I'm trying to do this with one hand. Is everything. The fabrics, these are the paper pieces, or foundation piecing, or I think that's what it's called. And this is all the instructions. So I think I'm going to bust it open just to read through the instructions. And then I will show everything officially in the quasi unboxing. I'll see you guys next time. I couldn't help myself. I had to bust it open. I just wanted to take a really quick look at how these are labeled. Everything is straight and pressed. And then these are labeled with stickers. And here is the foundation paper, and it looks like the instructions. Y'all, I'm doing it like this because I'm going to show it up close, but I'm digging in. I want to start reading. I've already went through. It's just like a little welcome thing and talks about the company. You see the other kits, or the ones that are coming up. And now this is all for this one. I'm doing this sideways. Y'all, just know you're gonna see my leg. I'm just sitting here. This is the foundation paper. Look how thick the instructions are. I'm gonna try to pull it out. And you may hear something like we're chilling. I just didn't want to miss everything. Okay, those are the foundation, and then these are the instructions. My plan was to do like this whole big unboxing, and I will insert clips in this video about when I actually opened the box. I couldn't wait. And today I was going to try to pull it all back together and show it again. But I realized I have like this very rare patch of time where I can spend some time getting this kit and all of my elements and the fabric organized. So what I'm doing now is I've cleared my pop-up table, and I'm going to set up the camera, and I'm going to start organizing. One of the things that I did, I'm going to put this photo on the outside of here, but One of the things that I did is I spent some time over the past couple of days, whenever I could, just reading through this and just making sure I understand. I've done paper piece before, but it's only been like a handful of blocks. Like I can only remember 2, and I think I did it maybe a few other times, but I don't think it's enough to count, not for the size of this project. So therefore, I really wanted to make sure that I spend some time reviewing this. And I thought it was just the right amount of a primer or a reminder to get started. And I'm going back to my old reliable, which is I love a good sheet protector and setting everything up in a binder. I also need it to be somewhat portable. My space is not that big. This table does not stay up always. So I need to be able to pick it up, put it down as needed, and still keep things intact. And I just could not, for the life of me, think about what to do with all of this fabric. And so I'm going to sit down and chat with you about what my plans are before I turn the camera and let you join me as I start this process of putting together and sewing and quilting and paper piecing and all of that, the Legit Monarch quilt. So I'm going to be sitting at this angle for just a little bit because I need to recharge the camera and hopefully it'll get some charging while I start working. And I'm going to show you what I have. I need to grab, I have these supplies. I got a glue stick, some tape, I got some sheet protectors. I just got the Amazon Basics. Y'all, these Amazon Basics are so thin, but you know what? It's gonna serve its purpose. And I also got a binder. I'm gonna catch you up to where I am right now, and then I'm gonna tell you how all this took place while I'm working. The goal right now, pardon me, is to get all of these into sheet protectors, I believe. I'm hoping this works. This is the first time that I've done this. So as a reminder, these are all the details that are inside it. Once I get it all inside of the binder, I will, actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and do the overhead shot now so you can see what's inside it. Then I can build my binder. When I change this camera view, I need y'all to remember we listen and we don't judge, okay? Because I am just trying to get it done. So let me change the view and then you'll see what I'm working with. All right, see you in a second. I'm gonna try my best to stay right in this frame. So I'm gonna stand up and show you. This is what it looks like on the front. It came all packaged in, I guess you consider the cellophane, but the plastic, you know, it was all nice and put together and tight. And this is the first page. This is the quilt. I'm gonna sort of do it like this. There we go. And now I'll work from this setup. So this is the quilt. I'm gonna have a seat. And this is what they call I think they call it the pattern map, but this is the pattern side. This is the finished quilt. And as you see, they are reversed. I absolutely love that, of course, they have the name of the pattern here, but I also love that they have the page counts throughout. It is really, really helpful, even already. Then you have the color guide, which is all of the colors that are used inside the pattern. They have their in-house number or coding system for each one of the colors. I know they have a name for that. I don't know what that is. Let's see. Actually, I might know. Let's see here. They call this the color code. Oh, 2-letter color code. That's what they call this. And what I think is pretty cool is this color code is used for the same fabric across all of their kits. They also have the name of the fabric. If you want to buy it, they use Kona. And these are all of the colors in the gradient that you will find in their patterns. Now, the front, which I did not point out, and let me go back and show it real quick. It has 115 colors, 2,777 pieces. So that is what we're working with. Every once in a while, y'all, I'm gonna have to pop up and make sure you're still in frame. Okay, here are the rest. Now, before I move on, okay, this is what I wanted to see. Here is the fabric list by code, and I wanted to see this. I'm trying to decide how I'm going to organize these. So A's, B's, a lot of B's, C's. Because if I did one by one, which I could, if I did one by one, that would be 115 or 115 sheet protectors. Ooh. You know what? I'm gonna do it. That'll just make it so much easier. So this fabric list, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to take a picture of this. Where's my phone? I'm going to take a picture and then I'm going to print it. And then I can use it as my checklist. And then I can put these. I could put this set in the sheet protectors. And let's see here. Let me scan this real quick. So I'm going to scan that. Y'all, I'm trying my best to get organized here. So this is what I have now that I can print. And I will also email it to myself as a PDF. Okay, that's done. So here is the fabrics by code, and this is what I'm going to use to organize. Then you start having the assembly guides, and all of this is so interesting to me. When I started turning through the individual assembly guides, I'm not going to lie, my head started spinning, and I'm not going to show every page because I don't want to do something that's against their rules. I don't think they ask you not to share, but just in case, you know. And so here is their assembly guide, and here's what I think I felt so far. When I started seeing this and I saw how thick all of these are instructions, y'all, okay? When I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness, it could feel overwhelming. Then when I started reading their instructions, and I'll show you guys it in a minute, but I already have it in a binder. When I went through and started reading the instructions, I realized that they are sort of overly sharing to try to simplify. At least that's what it feels like to me. So what this is showing what pieces you're sewing together. So when you start assembling, you would assemble A to A to A to B, and then you would sew those. That would be your first seam. And then you would sew those to A to G to A to H, which you would already have that sewn together. I'm not going to get into all that, but that's just what this is. And this is what it looks like. Can we please pause? And you see everything on here. What's really cool is this is just like a traditional paper please situation. It may seem a little bit overwhelming, but it is like normal, which is here we are seeing all the places where you would eventually sew. And honestly, what you would be doing is going all the way and finding number 1. And this would be the first place that you would sew. You'd sew A to B to A to A. And this would be your first seam. Then you would look for your second seam and your third seam and so on and so on. And so it's kind of, this is a little bit like a mess. But this is your assembly guide. And again, here's all the different instructions for each one of the pieces. And I'm not going through all of this. So this is a very simple one that seems a lot less like your head won't spin to look at it. Even though if you look really closely here, you'll see that it is what they call a fragmented block. Or you could even consider it a complex block. So we're not gonna, so now as I'm going through this, I'm going to see, okay, I'm gonna go to the next section. For the assembly guides, I think here's one of the downsides that I've seen it so far. I'm gonna go beyond the assembly guide because all of them look like that and go to the next section. I feel like this is not set up to hole punch. This is why I went with the sheet protectors, because if I were to punch here, it would go into the actual image, and I don't want to do that. So my plan, I was actually considering that right now. I am going to put these in sheet protectors, and they'll just be back to back. So I won't use a million of them. I may need a few more, but because I got a 200 pack, but I can already see I may need more. Okay, the next section is the cut guide. And the cut guide, I mean, it's exactly like it says, they do warn you that these are not to scale. So this is just a depiction of how you could cut the individual pieces that will come from this cut of fabric. And I think it's possible that I would want to do another one, but I would not do another one if it feels overwhelming. I want to look at the alphabetical list. Oh, come on. Okay, let me show you what I was looking at. So when you look at this, let me just trying to keep you in the frame without having to pop up and down. You see, this is the color name and the color number in Kona. This is how much of that fabric you have inside your kit. Here is their color code number for their in-house color code. And then inside of the block, here are the different pieces that you cut and where they are positioned in the overall pattern. One of the things that I did not point out in the map, I'm gonna just call it the map because I don't know if it's called a color map, but is it's sort of like a grade school graph, right? You have your alphabet, you have your numbers. So this block represents A8 and this block represents A7 and so on and so forth. So when you see this, that there's a cut of this fabric that's in C1A, there's one cut. Okay. Ooh, I can do this. I feel like keep telling myself, I can do this. Okay, and then you have all of the cut guides. So what I'm going to do right quick is I'm going to just sort of get all of these sort of laid out appropriately. Y'all, this I'm taking you along on this journey. Do I want to? So these are going to be the ones that I use with the sheet protectors to organize the fabric. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. So what I want is my page number in this bottom right corner. I just think for me doing my first whole paper piece quilt, this is a very ambitious. What happened with this, and y'all, if I've already told the story, I apologize. I have a feeling you may hear some of these things more than once as I go through this process. And we're working. These are the sheet protectors. These are the paper piece patterns. Let's go ahead and take a look at these, and then I can start setting myself up to get organized. These are the paper piece patterns. I want to go to that C. I think that'll give us a good understanding. And all of those instructions and everything along with this was in this plastic. So that was C1. Let's just go to, I put this color sheet of paper behind it to make it a little more stable, because when I finished, when I pulled those papers out, it felt a little bit flimsy. That's B. B8. Here we go, C1. And yes, it is 1. So that's showing what piece it is in that particular pattern. So let me confirm that by going to C2M to see if this fabric A is cut number 6. Oh, so this is the number of the cuts that you're going to get out of this fabric. This is where it's placed in the pattern, and this is the number that the cut is in the lineup on the individual pieces. Listen, they are trying to make it so that you don't get confused, but it is a lot of elements. There are a lot of elements. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. So these are all of the paper piece patterns. This is what you would use to sew on, and it's made with that news weight paper. So I'm going to just put these aside because I want to organize these as well. I'm just going to set these aside. So now that we have seen all of this, the last thing that I'll show real quick, because we can't go in detail, will be the fabric. I'm going to cross stack these because both sets are going to go into sheet protectors, but in a different way. I'm going to put this set in a binder with the instructions. I'm going to put this set in a separate binder that I'm going to use as the filing system. There are 2 videos on YouTube where a woman, I believe she's a certified Legit Kits instructor. I could be wrong. But she showed how she organizes and how she cuts, and I'm using that to influence how I want to do this, even though I'm doing it a little bit different, I think, mainly because I'm setting this up how I would normally set up my patterns when I have a big project or a big class. And the difference here is that I need to do it for fabric too. I've never done that before, and I've never done it for, well, I have done for paper piece patterns, and for those I always just put them in sheet protectors if I needed to. I'm going to show you the fabric, or just at least this overhead shot. And this is the fabric. Y'all, this is huge. They are all marked. Now, one lady said she went through and starched everything. Y'all, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna do all that. I hope, my hope is that I don't have to, because even though these are small pieces of fabric, I will be cutting with my quilting rulers, and my quilting rulers that I'll use for these will be the what are they called? The creative grid rulers that have the little grippies underneath it, and that will keep the fabric from sliding, and it will also keep the fabric in place. And so I'm used to cutting with small pieces of fabric, so I'm not as concerned about that. So we'll see. I mean, the only way you're going to learn is to do it. So here is all of the fabric. I'm not going to pull it all out right now. All of these color codes are the same ones that we saw in our list. And that list, it's going to be our guide for everything that I'm going to do next. As I begin to reason my way through doing this project. I'm coming in real quick. This is not my normal angle, nor is this my normal location, but I'm doing it right now to insert this clip into my unboxing and my first video for the Legit Monarch unboxing and setup. And what I'm doing right now, this is a set of instructions that were towards the back I saw after I was sort of going through everything. And what I'm doing right now is I'm going through, I'm reading it, and I'm also going to start with a video that they recommended. Now, when I watch this video, I'm going to take notes all over this, so this will not look clean. So I was like, let me go ahead and just shoot this little clip real quick. But I'm going to mark this baby up so that I can figure out what I'm doing and learn how to paper piece this quilt. So I'll see you in the next clip. I just got this in. I mean, I bought it, but it just came in. A light, and I was looking for something for the paper piecing. And here it is. A light pad is a viewing device used to review photographic film or artwork placed on top of it. Nowadays, artists and creators use light pads for all sorts of things. It goes into more. This one is, it's battery powered and rechargeable. It came with a case. Here's the recharging cable. Oh, it's already in the case. Now it's hard to do this with one hand. Oh. Oh, they gave a little drawings. Excuse me. And some tracing paper. And here it is. It has a built-in stand. I wanted it to be larger than a sheet of paper. This is not a quilting one. However, they do have measurements on the side. Oh. Ooh. Oh, look. Oh, and they have measurements across the top as well. Oh, this should be nice. Then it has the magnetic. It also, I've seen in some of the images that you can actually use magnets around if you want to sort of anchor your image. But I'm going to use this for paper piecing. Okay, so now I'm back. Listen, y'all, we're at this angle. I think you should hear me okay. I'm not going to put on a mic. I don't think I need to. You may see people pop in and out. It's Mother's Day. So my kids could pop in. My husband could pop in. We're just going to get it in, okay? I just showed you the overhead view of everything. One of the things that I did forget to show, y'all, my table is a little bit messy because I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing. But I want everything in reach. Oh, I know what to do. I have a little container, and I'm just going to put everything I don't need immediately down here, and hopefully that'll keep the table from being too busy. Ouch. There we go. Okay. Before I show you the last thing I didn't, this is, I printed the fabric list. I just scanned it and sent it to my printer. And the color is not perfect, but it's good enough. The color strips are so tiny. If I wanted a real good thing of it, I could have done a, I could have scanned it like on my flathead scanner, but I don't think it's that serious. I'm going to, yeah, I love using a good clipboard. I have a pencil, pen, and a highlighter because I'm not quite sure what's happening. And here, one of the things that I did not show is this also came with a set of instructions. It was not in the front with all the other pieces, but it was in the back, stapled together. I put them in sheet protectors because I read through everything. I took notes and sort of started thinking through what I wanted to do to tackle this large quilt. I'm going to put this back in here for now, but I plan to put it in a smaller one. I have a 3-inch binder and I don't think it needs this binder. But for now, it will work. So this is off to the side. And they also had some extras. This is a image of another Legit kit quilt. I don't know if it's available or if it's coming. They also, don't panic. This has a lot more fabric than you are used to. It's already labeled, alphabetized it by the 2-color code to find the right color quickly. Okay, wait a minute, come on. And this is what I was planning to do. I didn't see this. I didn't read it. I just thought it was like you know, like a little bit of encouragement. Okay, so it says, okay, the cut guide is not intended to be for, oh, wait, back. Alphabetize it by the 2-letter code to find the right color quickly. And that is what I plan to do. So that's what I'm going to do first. The cut guide is not intended to be followed by, not intended to be followed to the letter. The cut guide exists to point out how much fabric you receive versus how much you will use. Only reference the cut guide if you want to. Do blocks with large pieces first. This builds confidence and takes care of large cuts from your fabric allotment, which makes sense. Okay, so there are 2 things that I know for sure I want to do. I want to alphabetize the fabric by color code. I want to do that. And I'm going to use the pages to do that. I also want to separate the paper pieced patterns in like easy and more challenging. So I will tackle those more challenging or those fragmented blocks later. What I put in my notes, I had listed that I wanted to do easy and then fragments and then maybe other. So I could have 3 piles, and to me others would be the ones that not just have fragments, but it's multiple blocks that are going to be put together. So I guess that would be fragments. So I could call a complex where it's a bunch of little pieces, and fragments will be multiple blocks needing to be assembled to make one block. Okay, so with that said, this is the assembly guide, and the assembly guide is going to go with the instructions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these in sheet protectors last. I'm going to do those last because I would rather make sure I have enough to do the fabric. But that can't be right, right? I have a feeling I'm gonna need scissors. Hold on, let me get some scissors. Y'all, can I just please warn y'all, when I'm doing this, y'all, I'm so relaxed. So I'm like, I don't have no eyebrows. I have on my chillax home shirt and pants. I really love that they have the color in the corner. Okay, this one. Hold on. Y'all, this is what happens when you have tools. But we're going to use the tools we have, okay? Let me go get my cutout. Y'all, this could totally be overkill. I have no idea. I don't have any idea how to know that. So therefore, it is what it is. So here we go. Okay, I'm gonna do it in a sheet protector with the image up. And I'm going to do this because that means it would be facing up. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And when I put it down, I'm going to put it down beside me and I'll turn it face down so they'll be in order. Yeah. All right, here we go. While I do this, I'm going to start telling you a little bit about how this came to be. I'm also going to hopefully get to being able to tell you what my plans are. Okay, these are printed one-sided, and like there are 2 on this page. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it. I have my paper cutter here, and I'm just going to cut it in half, or you know, as best as I can. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever told you guys, I like me trying to cut stuff straight is dang near impossible. I do not know why that is. Cutting stuff straight, walking straight. Listen, it's a challenge for Dana. I'm going to, let me go get some photocopy paper. So I went and got some photocopy paper. I was like, I think I have some more. I tried to find the cheap stuff that I don't like. Girl, it could be it, it could not. I also got a stapler and a tape dispenser. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all FYI, you do not have to have all this stuff. But I also feel like when you buy all this stuff that you can choose to do or not, since you said I am going to do it, I really should have taken a scanned image of this beforehand. I didn't. Because I'm not going to have 100 scans either. I chopped the bottom part of the paper so that when I put it on a sheet of copier paper, that it's not flesh. I can just tape it in the middle and I don't have issues with hangage, and I can slide it in and out of the sheet protector with ease. I just don't want it to get hung up. It also means that it doesn't have to be perfectly straight to be on there. And I'll just put a little tape across the top and the bottom and call it a day. You could also use your glue stick, but I'm just going to use a piece of tape so that I can make it as smooth as possible, because I will still need to, I think I'm going to attach the number. And so when I do this, it means that I can just slide it into the sheet protector. I'm going to do this so that it's up. Am I doing this the right way? Yeah, I think so. See, like that. And these are the partials. Some of these fell all the way to the bottom though. So I was going to start off with like how this all came to be. I'm trying my absolute best to not cut anything off that is important. But I don't want it to be flush with the bottom, because then it'll start grabbing and ripping and you'll have to move slow. I just want a little bit cut off the edge like this. See, it was only a little bit for this one. So I went to the Quilt Festival in Houston, and I said it in my sneak peek of this, but that's why I feel like I've told you guys before, but let me go ahead and say it anyway. So I went to the Quilt Festival in Houston, and normally I find all those vendors overwhelming. I think it's such an exciting opportunity, but the opportunity does not outweigh the hustle and bustle of people, the million, like it feels like a million options. doesn't outweigh that to me. And so, so it's usually overwhelming to me. To bring down the overwhelm so that I can not miss out on the great opportunity, I usually will go through the program before everything starts. I keep feeling like, why do I feel like, okay, it'll be to the right, Dana. I go through the program and I pick the vendors I already know that I want to go to so that it brings down my overwhelm. So this means that the reality is, like, that means that I don't see everybody. I can miss out on seeing people that I want to see. I try my best when I go and I pick, I know I'm going to see a particular vendor. When I go to that row, I pay attention to that row. But sometimes it means that I don't see people. With that said, I'm gonna cut off from the top on this one. So I'm saying all this to say, there is no reason why I really should have seen this particular vendor, because I don't know them. I had never heard of them. And I was doing like, I was going to see one of the vendors that supplied supplies for one of my classes. Y'all, I can't even remember what the vendor's name is, but it was in one of the free motion classes. They supplied some of the supplies that we used. So I wanted to go down to their table and see what else they had. And when I went down there to do that, that's when I saw this huge butterfly. The butterfly that I'm doing, it was on their in their display. They it was quilted, it was up. They had the butterfly up. They had this one with 2 horses. Y'all, I was like, oh my goodness, because I grew up with horses as a kid with my grandparents. So I love horses too. And so y'all, this is what I'm doing. Some of them, like this one, I did just put 4 small pieces of tape. Y'all, listen, this is going to be a lot of tape, but who cares? I don't care. The great thing is this was a gift from my kids. So I want to make sure I do it right, and that I enjoy doing it. I have fun doing it. And that's when it's my way of telling them thank you for giving me such an amazing gift. Now, y'all, this is not the cheap paper. I can tell it's so thick. So that's what I'm doing. Some of them are not whole sheets. So the ones that are half a sheets, I not only need to cut it, but I need to cut a little bit off the top end or bottom to be able to fit it into the sheet protector without overhang. So, and you could even do this with scissors. Y'all, this is one of those times when I'm doing a project and it's just because I feel like it. I'm in no hurry. I'm in no hurry. Ain't nobody waiting on this. And I could take as long or as you know, get it done as fast or as slow as I'd like. I do have a timeline that I'd like to finish it though, but other than that. And what was I saying? Okay, so again, there was no reason why I should have seen their thing, but I was walking the aisle to go to this other one. And the crazy part is I can even see the logo of the place in my head, and I can't remember the name. But when I was walking on their aisle, doing like I said, looking at the other vendors, I saw that huge butterfly. And I love butterflies. So I had to stop. And I was just, they were talking to other people. And I stopped and was just looking really, really close. You know, etiquette is that you don't touch. So I did not touch. But when I walked close to that thing, see, this is what I was talking about. See how that gets caught on there? Right here? This is what you don't want. You know what? On the next one, I'm going to try it with glue and see if glue will be better. Because you don't want it to rip. Because at the end of the day, these are like a little, you know, it's going to be the help. So I go down the aisle, I see the butterfly, I stop, I look. I go near it, and when I go near it, I realized, oh my goodness, this is pieced. It was so beautiful that it looked like it could have been a whole cloth, like a digitally printed. Oh, did I do that too close? Ooh, I cut that a little bit close. But I didn't. Listen, I need to email them and be like, can you get these things digitally? So anyways, so when I went close, I realized this is not a digital print. This is pieced. And then I really was curious. So I was just sitting up there staring, and they had all these kits, and they were all laid out because it was a booth. And when I saw the price, I was like, listen, it was low-key a little bit a pearl clutcher. So I was just like, okay, well. And so then that's when I started asking questions. Because y'all listen, BEBG, I said, I'm going to try glue. Y'all, my dislike of glue means that now when I need glue, I cannot find glue. Now, I do use it in my other crafts, but in here, so one of the things that I've started doing when it comes to doing these sorts of crafts is like, I don't immediately bark at something because of the price. I've been doing this long enough that you realize quickly in this area, you get what you pay for. And baby, there are times when you're working on something and you wish you would have just paid the extra money. But I still felt like they were pricey, even with the discount. This is better. Now I need to just make sure I get it on the edges better, but this is better. So I'm just gonna put a little bit on the edge. Y'all, that just show I do not use glue. I hardly ever use glue, but I'm gonna do it. I bought it for this because whenever I did the paper piecing before, I liked using freezer paper to help put it, like, keep it down. And if I need to, I can put just a little bit of tape on these corners. But anyways, so when I saw the price, I was like, okay, I'm not going to work about the price, but I am aware. So that's when one of the people, that was working the booth saw me looking and going through and looking at the kids. And she was just like, hey, how are you? That kind of stuff. And, do you have any questions? And I just started asking questions about the kits and the process. And that's when she went into the whole spiel about it. And when she went into the whole spiel about it, I started realizing why they were so expensive. So when she said, well, which one did you like? And I showed her and she was like, oh, that's one of our biggest ones. So she went to go get that particular kit, and she began to walk me through what was in the kit. And okay, y'all, these things are so chubby, but it's like you can't control it. So she walks me through. I should have got some water. Like what's in the kit. She brought over this kit, and she, the spill, like, it's over 100 colors. She probably told me the number of pieces. I asked her about, you know, how hard or easy it is. And she said one of their team members who wasn't a quilter put together the quilt and, you know, with no problems. And it was his first time doing it, that kind of thing. And so I was like, So, and I realized, you know, that was all my questions. So she went, you know, to help someone else. And I had sent the picture to my husband. And he was like, oh, that is nice. And and I was like, I really like it. And I thought he was going to say something about the price because it was, you know, it's expensive. Well, I don't want to say it's expensive. It's an investment. And he didn't. His thing was, well, you wouldn't want to do that quilt. I was like, why not? He's like, because you don't like to follow directions. Now listen, if you've been around here a while, welcome back, sis. If you are new, welcome, sis. But I am queen of the Wing It committee, okay? I don't feel like quilting should be stressful. I should be having a good time. And being stressed out is not my idea of a good time. And so therefore, I don't mind if it gets to be too stressful. I will stop and do my own thing, but I'm not gonna waste my money or my fabric. Y'all, this is how much even my kids know this to be true. When they bought this kit for me for Mother's Day, my shady daughter said, now, when we see this quilt again, it will look like a butterfly, won't it? And I said, I promise not to turn my butterfly into an elephant. Because, baby, who would figure out a way to use all of those pieces and turn that butterfly into an elephant would be me. Y'all, I'm just making a mess. Oh, you know what? I can just use this as the one that I put the glue on so I can go over the edges. Let them use you. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. And so that is the running joke. And I understand where it comes from. It comes from a very honest place. And I am not ashamed. However, I am going to try my absolute best not to do that here. Okay? I'm going to get a napkin or a tissue. Can I just tell you, I absolutely love when I'm working in my studio, and even though stuff is not perfect and I need to get something, I know exactly where it is. That I have everything that I need to do what I want to do. That's a blessing. So they all know that I am prone to winging it. And I know that too. But this is one of those times that, number one, because my kids bought this for me, and because I really want to make something for this wall. I wanted something that was going to be big and bright and I'm gonna have to go back through and make sure they're still in order, because for some reason when they have the two on one page and I cut it, sometimes I don't have it still in the alphabetical order. I mean, they're still there together, but anyways, I wanted something when I came into my studio that it was just beautiful on the wall, and it made me happy to be in here. I'm already happy to be in here, but I just wanted something to make this whole, like, brighten up the whole room. And I realized that when I was working on that Baker's lattice quilt, when I was going through the process of laying it out and I had it up on the wall, it just made the whole room seem brighter to just have it up there. And I wanted that, like, permanently. I knew I didn't want, like, seasonal type of decorative quilts like that, because I don't want to have to take things up and down. I do feel like I want maybe about, I don't know, maybe 4 quilts that I could use as to go on the walls. And then and so when I realized that that's what I wanted to do, that's when I knew that I'm gonna do this one. So I went to the website. Mother's Day was coming up. I'm gonna make sure, see, I'm gonna make sure that I didn't. There we go. Y'all, it's already looking good. Listen, some people probably like, why are you doing all this? That is a lot of extra work. I'm going to tell y'all, like I tell my students, you do not have to do it. This is just how I am going to do it. One of my other sort of, I guess you can say, philosophies when it comes to crafting is I give myself permission to enjoy every part of the process, even the prep, the cutting, I'm not trying to rush any part of it, because a lot of times I only get a few minutes here and there anyway. And like today, I'm getting the hang of it. Like I'm cutting a little bit off the top and a little bit off the bottom. Today, since it's Mother's Day, and they knew, listen, my family know me. They knew they were giving me this quilt, and they knew I would want to stay in my studio most of the day. We celebrated Mother's Day on Friday. We went out to eat as a family. They gave me my gift. They all called and everything today, but they made it so I could sleep in late. My husband and I went out for our walk, and now I get to be in here doing this with you.
Yeah.